Morning, children. Welcome to our social session. In our previous session, I explained lesson number 5, temperature. In temperature, we had learned about sun rays coming towards the earth travel in straight lines. Okay. After this, I explained the earth shape and the distribution of sun rays, as well as thermal zones, frigid zone, temperate zone, torrid zone we had learned, as well as the factors that lead to diversity in the climate of different region. Okay, now that was the first part. In the second part, we shall learn about the ocean currents. They are warm current as well as cold current, and we shall even learn about the mean annual temperature as well as a simple thermometer. Okay, so let us begin with the explanation. Now, in lesson number 5, page number 26, you can see there are 3 children standing near the gas, okay, and they are doing some experiment, that is convection and vertical flow of heat. They are trying to learn the vertical flow of heat. Okay, so let us learn about the experiment which uh, they are doing. A pot with water is placed on a burner. Drop 4-5 small plastic buttons in it and observe their movement in water. This is figure 5.5. So the children have taken a pot, in that they have placed water to boil, and along with the water they have dropped 4-5 small plastic buttons in it. Okay, so what happens? You already learned that once we start heating the water expands. Okay, the water expands on heating. So what happens? The hot water from the base, it moves upwards. Okay, where the water gets heat at the base, the water becomes hot there. Okay, once it becomes hot, the water expands. So the hot water at the base, it rises upwards. Along with it, the buttons too are pushed to the surface. Okay, once we drop the buttons in the water, it comes down. But as the water gets heated, along with the hot water, the button also rises up. So the relatively cooler water in the upper portion moves downwards, taking the button with it. Yes, so the button along with the hot water, it rises up, it comes on the surface. But after that, what happens? The cooler water on the surface, it comes down. So while coming down, along with it, it also takes the buttons down. So this happens repeatedly. In other words, on heating, an upward current sets in the water. In nature, the conditions are slightly different. Okay, on heating, what happens? The hot water, it rises upwards. Okay, now let us see what happens in the nature. So, due to temperature differences, both upward and horizontal currents develop in the ocean. Besides temperature differences, factors like winds and differences in the density of water also give rise to horizontal currents. These ocean currents flow from the equator to the polar region and from the polar region to the equator. Okay, due to the temperature differences on the earth's surface, yeah, there are both upward as well as horizontal currents which is developed in the ocean. And these temperature differences, besides this, there are factors like wind and differences in the density of water. It gives rise to horizontal currents. So what happens? These ocean currents, it flows from the equator towards the polar region. Okay, it rises upwards towards the polar region, and from the polar region, the currents, it flows to the equator. Yes, so when an ocean current flows, yeah, ocean current means air on the surface of the ocean. When the ocean current flows from frigid to torrid zone, this we had already learned in our previous session, children. Frigid zone, torrid zone, temperate zone, this all we learned. So what happens? The ocean current from the frigid zone, from the cool region, okay, it flows towards the torrid zone. And what happens as the cool air from the frigid zone, it flows towards the torrid zone, it reduces the temperature of the coast in the torrid zone. So the coastal areas, the temperature in the coastal area in torrid zone, it reduces the temperature there. Why? Because the cool air from the frigid zone, it flows towards the torrid zone. And when the current, it flows from torrid zone, the hot current, yeah, from the torrid zone, it flows towards the frigid zone. It increases the temperature of the coast in the frigid zone. So what happens? The hot current, okay, from the torrid zone, when it rises upwards towards the frigid zone, so what happens? There the temperature in the frigid zone near the coast, it rises, okay, because this hot current from torrid zone, it goes towards the frigid zone, and the cool current from the frigid zone, it comes towards the torrid zone. Got it? So vice versa, the temperature in the frigid zone, it increases when the hot current from the torrid zone reaches to the frigid zone, and when the cool current from the frigid zone, it flows towards the torrid zone, there it reduces the temperature of the coast in the torrid zone. You understood this part, children? Okay, now see figure 5.6. These are the ocean currents. These are the currents on the surface of the ocean. You can see the circular movement of the current, and the arrow which is marked in red, this is the warm current, and the arrow which is marked in blue, these are the cold currents. So this is how the movement of hot and cold current exists. Okay, so now let us learn about, see page number 28, mean annual temperature. Okay, page number 28, mean, this is the mean annual temperature. This is the earth's surface. You can see the lines on the earth's surface. Yeah, see the southern part, somewhere the lines are straight, okay, and in the northern part where there is a continent, okay, yeah, there the these lines are somewhat circular, okay, or curved. Yes, so let us see what these lines are. So these lines are called as isotherms. Considering the temperatures of various places on the earth, maps of global distribution are prepared. Figure 5.7 is drawn with the help of isotherms. These are the isotherms. Isotherms are lines that connect places with the same temperature after avoiding the effect of height. Okay, these isotherm lines, it connects the places of same temperature. Okay, where the temperature is same, you can see the isotherms are straight, and where the temperature differs or somewhere you can see the continents in between, so there you can see the isotherms are in a curvature form. Okay, so observe the isotherm of 25 degrees Celsius at 25 degrees Celsius in the map. This line occupies areas close to the equator. 25 degrees Celsius in the northern hemisphere as well as 25 degrees Celsius in the southern hemisphere. These lines are close to the equator, and the shape of the line appears like an ellipse. Ellipse, we in previous lessons we had already learned what is ellipse. Okay, so the now north south spread of this ellipse is greater on the continent as compared to the parts of the continent of South America, Africa, Asia and Australia. Okay, so this in the northern part, yeah, so the ellipse, you can see the north south spread of this ellipse is greater, yeah, where compared to the some parts of continent, yes, South America, Africa, Asia and Australia. A very limited portion of Pacific Ocean is occupied by this isotherm. Now you will find two isotherms with a label of 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degree, this is the, yeah, you can see the 0 degrees Celsius. Yeah, there you will find there are two isotherms in the north as well as south. The 0 degree Celsius isotherm from the southern hemisphere is largely straight and is parallel to the line of latitude. Just look at the map, children, figure 5.3. See, compare the 0 degree Celsius isotherms in the northern hemisphere as well as southern hemisphere. You will see the difference. In the southern hemisphere, the lines are straight. It is largely straight. It's parallel to the line of latitude. And comparatively in the northern hemisphere, the lines deviates, okay, north and south considerably. Yeah, northern hemisphere, these lines are not straight, it is curved. Why? Because there are more continents in the northern hemisphere. In the west, in parts of Pacific Ocean, it is fairly straight, but when it enters the continent of North America, okay, it turns somewhere to the north. Okay, near the Pacific Ocean, these lines you will find it straight, but as it enters the North America, it turns somewhere to the north. Then the line proceeds to the eastward. Okay, within a short distance after entering Atlantic Ocean, it turns towards the northeast. After short distance of time, when it enters the Atlantic Ocean, it turns towards the northeast. In this part, you will find all the isotherm lines turning to the northeast. Okay, while I explain, just keep an eye on the map. You will understand the topic thoroughly. Okay, you will understand the lines of isotherm, how it helps you to know the mean annual temperature. Okay, so see the map thoroughly, children. You will find all the isotherm lines turning towards the northeast. Why this is so? This is because of a warm ocean current is located in this area. In our previous part, I told you in the ocean currents, I explained what is warm current and cold current. You had seen in the map. So what happens here? Warm ocean current, it is located in this area. That is why you will find the isotherms line turning towards the northeast. Further, after entering Eurasia while moving towards eastward, it turns somewhat to the southeast. Still further, in the Pacific Ocean, most of the isotherm lines appear moving eastwards at strait. Near Pacific Ocean, you will find again the isotherms appear moving eastward and appears as a straight line. Okay. So the isotherms in the southern hemisphere are fairly parallel to the latitudinal line. Just compare both the isotherms, children, in the northern hemisphere as well as in the southern hemisphere. See the difference. So isotherms in the southern hemisphere are parallel to the latitudinal line. You could see the isotherms are straight from South Pole to the Tropic of Capricorn. The distance between these lines is almost equal. Okay, South Pole towards the Tropic of Capricorn. We had learned this, no? Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Cancer, it is in the northern hemisphere above the line of equator. And Tropic of Capricorn, it is in the southern hemisphere below the line of equator. Okay, so here at Tropic of Capricorn, the distance between these lines is almost equal. They are parallel. As the proportion of land in the southern hemisphere is limited, why it is so, children? Why the lines are parallel to the latitude? Yes, and the distance between these lines are almost equal. Why it is so? Why? Because the proportion of land in southern hemisphere is limited. You can see that in the southern hemisphere there is more water there, more ocean as compared to land. But see the northern hemisphere, you will see more continents are there. Yeah, the proportion of land is more in the northern hemisphere as compared to the southern hemisphere. That is why in southern hemisphere the lines, isotherm lines, are parallel, okay, to the latitude. So in the northern hemisphere the distance between these lines varies. So like in the northern hemisphere, so the distance between these lines changes. Near the Pacific Ocean they are somewhat parallel but not near the continent. In the continent they are in a curved form. Okay, so in this hemisphere the proportion of land is comparatively greater. So northern hemisphere the land is comparatively greater. This affects the distribution of temperature. These effects are seen in the form of variation in the distance between the isotherm and curved nature of this line. Okay, so this is how there is variation in the distance between the isotherm. Somewhere the isotherms are parallel in the southern hemisphere, most of the southern hemisphere, and curved nature of this isotherm in the northern hemisphere. I hope you understood this, no? Okay, yeah. What the mean annual temperature? Is this topic clear to you, children? Yes. Now let us learn about thermometer. Yeah, you are used to thermometer, children. Okay, thermometer. We use this instrument to check our temperature. Yes. Suppose if you have fever and all, so we make use of thermometer to see the temperature, as well as uh, the temperature of air also. There are different thermometer. This is simple thermometer which you will see on page number 29. It helps you to measure the temperature of air. Now let us study thermometer in detail. Different types of thermometers are used for measuring the temperature of air. Mercury or alcohol is used in the thermometers. The freezing point of mercury is minus 39 degrees Celsius, whereas that of alcohol is minus 130 degrees Celsius. Okay, the freezing point of mercury, it is minus 39 degrees Celsius, whereas alcohol minus 130 degree. So these materials are highly sensitive to temperature variation. Temperature variation means change in temperature. Therefore, variations in temperature from minus 30 degrees Celsius to plus 55 degrees Celsius can easily be observed with the help of these materials. The unit of measuring temperature are degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. As shown in the figure, these are expressed as C or F. Now the difference in daily temperature, that is maximum or minimum, it can be observed with the help of thermometer. So air temperature is measured in Celsius. You can see there the Celsius written there. Okay, on one side it is written C, on the other side F. C means Celsius and F means Fahrenheit. Then at the center you can see there is a vacuum glass tube. Okay, just see page number 29, figure 5.8. Okay, I repeat again, C is known as Celsius, F Fahrenheit. Then center we have vacuum glass tube. Then there is a temperature scale on both the side. Okay, it is measured on left side, it is written in minus 40 degree, 30 degree, minus 30, minus 20, and right side 40, 20, minus 40, minus 20, then 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 and 120. Yeah, then center in red you could see this is the mercury or alcohol, and there is the mount, means the board on which the thermometer is placed. Okay, so I hope you understood a simple thermometer also thoroughly. So this thermometer is used to measure the temperature of air. With this, we have finished with our lesson number 5, temperature, second part. Yeah, in this we covered world ocean currents as well as world mean annual temperature, and then I explained thermometer. I hope you understood the lesson thoroughly. Yeah, thank you children.